Hey guys, what's up? Gonna do a quick video here on how to restore turn signal switch from 63 to 67 on a Karmann Ghia and also a Beetle. What we have here is a 66 to 67 turn signal switch, and this actually did not come out of a Ghia, it came out of a 66 Beetle convertible, but we'll excuse that because it's the same part for a Karmann Ghia. So if you check it out right here, the stock part is still in good condition, but the bottom has been tampered with. There's a couple of holes drilled in here, and this is not the original set screw. That's been replaced. And this conduit for the wires is cracked and stiff. So if I were to restore this, I would go online or go to a swap meet, and I would look for a turn signal switch that's actually got a broken stock, and I would combine the two because you could probably get that really inexpensively. And I would take the two apart and I would paint them and combine them into one working turn signal switch. And the way that's done is really not that hard at all. What you're gonna need is to find some circlip pliers, and you wanna pry this clip off. And if you look closely right here, there's an opening in the clip, and you take the pliers, stick that in there like that, and pry that apart. And then this clip should come right off, which it does. Okay, so underneath it, there's another like big round flat washer kind of guy. It's very flexible. And then what you can do is you can just pull this apart. Let me do that right now. So just pry it apart gently, like so. And what do we have inside? Okay, so let's take a closer look at this one first. You have this mechanism here that pivots back and forth, and that, when you turn your switch, this will pop out. And then the steering wheel, when the steering wheel rotates around, there's a canceling ring that'll hit this, push it down, and that will make the stock straighten out to the center position. There's a spring in here that you don't want to lose, and also right here, this is part of how the circuit is completed. There's a little tiny spring under there, under this little metal, and this is a little flexible, it pushes in and out, and that completes the circuit when you turn the switch to the left or right position. So there's a tiny little spring in there too. So 1, 2, 3 springs. You don't want to lose any of those. You don't want to break any of them. So when you go to restore this part, first you want to clean everything. Then sand it, tape everything off, paint it. Okay, clip just fell on the floor. Spring is still in place. So this comes out really easily. Make sure you don't lose it. So I'm going to put it down on the table here along with the spring so I don't lose them. Okay, so now looking at the base, again, this part, you could use it, but if you're doing a nice restoration, I would replace it. So you want to make sure that your wiring is still intact. It's still connected here to this, I guess it's like a primitive circuit board or something. You want to make sure all your wires are still attached. And you're going to want to clean all this 58 years worth of gunk in here. Get rid of that. The original color of this was silver beige. You can get silver beige paint from Wolfsburg West in a can. It's probably around $20 plus shipping costs, so that'll cost you $26. So if you're not super picky, you can also go to the hardware store or Home Depot or something and pick up a can of paint. That's a close match. I've heard people say almond is a good match for silver beige. Also, you might not be able to find this conduit in the original color. So I think, if you go on Amazon or go to an auto parts store, you can get this in black. Okay, so let's imagine this is beautifully painted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my tiny little spring, put it back in here, press it down so it doesn't fall out, and then take this metal clip, pop that back in there. Okay. Then, basically, it's pretty simple. You just have to shove these two guys back together. So there's two metal posts here and here, and that fits between the spring, the big spring. So you also want to make sure, this canceling mechanism here, that is in the center position. That's not this way or that way. That's perfectly round, lined up. You're gonna wanna lubricate everything with some Sil Glide or something, maybe some dielectric grease, I don't know, the grease of your choice. And then you're gonna push this back together. But what you're gonna find is it doesn't wanna go. It's not pushing in. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, it's not working, what's happening? Well, the reason it's not going in is because this is in the way and it actually has to be pushed outward like that in order for this to fit on. Obviously you can't do that with your fingers while you're pushing it on. So what you do, what I found works for me, because I've restored a few of these, is to put this in position, then take your circlip pliers here, and you have to widen out those two canceling mechanisms. So I stick the circlip pliers inside here, I force them apart gently, and as I'm doing that, I push down and draw the pliers out and snap shut in place. Then to reassemble, I put that flexible washer down and then circlip. You can actually just use your fingers to force it on. It goes in place like that. So that's how you take it apart, clean it, paint it, and put it back together. So right here is a restored turn signal switch. I pulled this out of a 64 or 65 Karmann Ghia. And I also added this switch right here. You can wire this to either control your high beam, low beams instead of the foot pedal switch, or just wire it so that it'll just flash your high beams when you push this button. You know, it took me a few hours to do all this work. As a hobbyist, you can afford to take that time to save a part that's original to the car. It's not made in China or Mexico or wherever. So you're preserving the car's originality and its history, and you're adding to its value, and you're getting some satisfaction out of restoring the part. So that's what I'd recommend to you. Very quickly on installation, if you look inside here, you'll see there's a groove in there, and the steering column fits through the opening, obviously, and you push it until it seats on this internal groove where it gets a little narrower, and that's how you know how far to push it into the column. All right, check this out. There we go. Okay, just need to tighten up this screw, and it's set and in place. Look at me, Mom, turning left. Now I'm turning right. Not turning at all. This video is getting too long, so be on the lookout for my steering column video, which will also cover the turn signal switch wiring. Wow, these graphics are fancy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
It's a waste of money and a waste of time. You're an Italian bastard child. They will empty your wallet and steal your soul. Put the pedal to the metal 'cause it goes real slow.